What is up, Sooner Nation? I am Casey Mallon, and you are now, come on, get with me in a Sooner state of mind. Make sure you subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Play, and Amazon Music. I'll tell you where the four winds dwell. In Franklin's Tower, there hangs a bell. It can ring and turn night to day. It can ring like fire when you lose your way. You know what I'm talking about, people. Well, we're in May, almost June. Can you believe it? Really in the end of the news cycle for college football. Or are we? Yeah, mostly. For the most part, there's a little stuff trickling in, but not too much. That's okay. So we'll find the news where we can get it. We've been talking about this guy, Jim Nagy, bringing that swag, that NFL swag, that Senior Bowl swag. One of the best hires for the university in such a long time. This dude has a vision for the future of the program, and he's implementing that. And he just added one more person to his staff, Stacy Ford, who is the director of player personnel at UCLA, been director of recruiting at Washington State. He joins Nagy's crew, joining Charlie Parkinson, Cale Pearson, and Taylor Redd. Nagy's identified these people he wants on his team, and they're going to take everything out of the hands of the coaches. And this is going to be huge. He's molding this program. OU is on the forefront of this, people. This program is doing it before everybody else. And before too much longer, everybody's going to have to try to catch up with these Sooners. Hopefully it's a little too late. We're going to find out. But I still think, as much as I've talked about how much I love this hire, I think it's still a little bit under the radar. I think we're going to see the fruits of this labor this season and for several more in the years to come. Just, I think so highly of Jim Nagy. And if he's bringing these cats onto his staff, they're going to be proper. So it's exciting times. Don't have a lot of action going on off the field, but that front office, it's molding, it's creating its future, and I am stoked about it. Speaking of future, Sooners got a future player, a 2026 commit. We are talking about defensive tackle Brian Harris. He had been committed to those Terps, those Terrapins, not to be confused with Terrapin Station. And in February, he decommitted, and now he is an Oklahoma Sooner. 6'3", 280 pounds. Building in the trenches, people. Getting bigger there, getting stronger there, getting more athletic. That is the lifeblood of the SEC. And if you cannot compete in the trenches, you cannot compete. And Michigan, Alabama, Penn State, bunch of teams wanted this cat. And once he got in and saw what BV, what Bates, Chavis, what those cats were doing, he wanted in. And, you know, get him a little time messing with Schmitty, put a few more LBs on that pound, on that body, get him over 3 bills. Watch out, people. And that's where we're already stacked. So I think that's going to be a great addition as well. We'll see what happens. Try not to get too stoked for these commits down the road because you just don't know what's going to happen. And if these guys will honor their commitment, obviously he's coming off a decommitment, but looks like he is going to be a baller. So still got some time, but it's just exciting to be getting athletes of this caliber that want to be in the mix. And hopefully these guys stay committed. A couple years ago, BV said, if you take another visit, you're not committed. And maybe we're seeing that with the future at quarterback, Jaden O'Neal. Not sure where that lies, but it looks like this current administration is getting all the talent that they can get in there, and it doesn't matter. We'll stack them, and it's competition all the time at every position. So if you don't want to compete, you want something handed to you, OU is probably not going to be the place for you, and that's okay. Hopefully he stays in the mix, but I know they've got a couple prospects that they're hoping to get some commitments from moving forward. So we shall see what happens with that. But Mr. Brian Harris, as of now, he's committed to OU. So more beef up front, mo better. So I'm super stoked and excited for this defense. And if we're bringing in cats like that moving forward, that is going to be a good thing as well. Speaking of that SEC competition, they want to get a few more teams into the playoffs. We had the 12 team for last year and this current season coming up. How long will it last? We're already looking at 16 teams. And if that happens, the SEC and the Big Ten want guaranteed spots for each. We're talking the haves and the have-nots, people. And if I was outside the SEC or the Big Ten, I might not like that as much. But once we're inside, what the heck? You know, the SEC for sure, the conference play is absolutely brutal. Maybe you don't have the runaway teams like you did the last few years, like when Bama was just kicking the crap out of everybody. But it is a deep conference. And maybe if you're in the Big 12 or one of these other conferences, you don't lose 3 or 4 games during the season. So it'll be interesting to see how this goes moving forward, but you can bet that they are going to add more teams. And when we get those extra teams, these big conferences are going to want those guaranteed bids. So that does set up some weird or interesting scenarios for teams moving forward. How do you get to your championship game? What happens if you lose? I could see being different pods and figuring it out, and maybe the SEC is broken down into 4 pods, and then one team from each of those pods competes to be the SEC champion down at the end of the season. I don't know. But it's all going to mean more football, and to me, that is a great thing. So I'm sure this thing is going to get tweaked every season. They're going to find some stuff they like, find some stuff they don't like, and they will definitely add games to this things sooner than later. Now, speaking of that 12-team format, there was lots of belly aching by some schools the way they seeded that thing. Last season, it was the top 4 conference winners that got the top 4 seeds in that thing. And for next year, it's going to be a straight seeding format. And I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing either. We had Oregon had to play Ohio State in the second round of that thing. What a brutal matchup. You know, you rock through the whole regular season only to get Ohio State. That's brutal. So with changing the seeding, that'll be a little bit different. If they would have done it last year, the top 4 seeds would have still been Oregon, followed by Georgia, Texas, and Penn State. And the first round games would have been Clemson versus Notre Dame, Boise versus Indiana, Arizona State versus Ohio State, and SMU versus Tennessee. So in that second round, Oregon would have gotten the winner of Boise or Indiana. Much better game for them, especially since they had earned that number 1 seed. So I think this is probably a good thing moving forward. Don't know how long it's going to last. Like I said, they're going to bring in more games, more teams, and they're going to get to 16 quicker than we think. One thing I would like to see, though, out of this playoff is instead of those first round games being held on the college campuses, why not make those bowl games and give those top 4 seeds a home game? We saw last year that the teams coming off of bye weeks got smashed, so maybe they'd earned the right to play at home and get that bye, give them a little juice, being that they'll have sat a week longer, put those games on the campuses. I don't know if there's much clamoring for that to happen, but if it was up to me, that would be one of the first things I would do with this playoff system. And those second round games would be absolutely on fire. Maybe they don't want to do the bowl games with these teams because there might not be as much interest in them. But, if you're thinking you might lose after that first round, maybe you do go to the Rose Bowl to see Arizona State versus Ohio State, or the Sugar Bowl, or the Cotton Bowl to see SMU and Tennessee. So Orange Bowl, Clemson and Notre Dame. There you go. Fiesta Bowl, Boise State, Indiana. Problem solved, people. Those will be great. And then we see the top seeds get that first home game. This should be something that they're going to look at. And I think probably everything is on the table moving forward. Haven't heard a lot of talk about that, but man, I think that would be absolutely sweet. What else we got? Well, there was rumor out there last year, Ohio State spent about $25 million on that championship squad. And depends who you ask. This year, there's talk about Texas, 2 S's, spending upwards of $40 million on a roster. Does that seem crazy? No. Does Sark like it? No. In an interview, Sark said, "What's crazy about this day and age, one guy writes an article from an anonymous source that says that's what our roster is. Everybody ran with it. Now I'm talking real publications ran with it. Nobody asked me one question." Sark, are you paying your roster $40 million? Oh, well, not quite that. No, definitely not. 37 and a half. I don't know. Either way, we're going to have to get some kind of regulation in on this. It can't be that Texas spends $40 million and the other schools spend $20 million. We got to try to get it as level of a playing field as possible. It shouldn't just go to, hey, whoever can pay the most gets the best players. That will totally kill the soul of college football. There's still a area where the athletes can get paid. We can have nice things, and it can still feel like college football, but it is a fine line. And if it goes to it's just the highest bidder, it's not going to be good for anybody except the highest bidders. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. I know there's some stuff moving through the government right now, and hopefully we get this dialed in. Hopefully the conferences and the commissioners and the presidents can all get in and vote for some uniformity on this. I know the places that have a leg up on the competition don't want to lose that edge, but It's got to be equitable for everybody. It's got to have some sense of fairness to it. And then you take it to the field and may the best team win. But we got to figure this out. And hopefully, after the chaos of the first few years of NIL and the tail end of COVID and all this stuff kind of works its way to a resolution, that money part can come into. But I'm telling you, they are moving to the NFL model. It is going to happen, people. So it'll be interesting to see how this proceeds moving forward, but it will have to take that NFL model, especially with the off season, like we talked about, having the teams meet up in OTAs or training camp or whatever it will be called for college. It's on its way. One thing that has been very tough to navigate is the transfer portal. It has been the absolute wild, wild west since COVID, and they need to figure this thing out as well. And it's got a prominent voice talking about that. Kirby Smart says the biggest decision by far that needs to be made in college football right now is that transfer portal. Remember, signing day used to be a huge deal. Tune in and see who got who, and now it kind of came and went and nobody cared about it. It wasn't a big deal. I don't even remember the Sooners getting any names on that day. But Kirby, and I think there's a lot of feedback that kind of supports this, is looking to close one of those transfer portals. There's one in the winter and one in the spring. And even though the winter one interferes with the college football playoff, Kirby's into it. Kirby said the biggest decision that has to be made in college football right now by far is when the portal window. And if there is one or two. Kirby wants one. I get it. And he wants it in January. Maybe we do it after January. Maybe we wait till the season's done. I know some of these playoff teams had players that were looking to get paid a little more right before those games, threatening to sit out. I don't know what we can do about that moving forward because the money is so big. So you're still going to have guys looking out for themselves. But if they can't hump, or if there's, some kind of, oh, you're transferring? Okay. First one's free. Second one, you sit out. Or maybe the first one, you have to sit out X amount of time. Maybe that helps some of these people jumping ship. I don't know. They got to tighten it up, though, because it's hard enough to re-recruit your team every year. And then you throw in, oh, well, I exceeded what my NIL was. I need more money. Unless we get contracts going, it's going to continue to be that. So a little help closing that window. If it only happened once a year, and then at least the teams, the universities will know, okay, we made it through this window. Now we can focus on these problems. So with two, it is a little trickier, the dynamics of that, and I get it. So I'm not opposed to just one transfer portal window. The time, I don't know. We'll figure that out. But we got to get some rules and regulations in on this stuff. It's just absolute bonkers right now. So let's see what happens. We got to tighten all this stuff up, but it's also new and fresh. With the new playoffs, it's going to expand. Transferring NIL, it's a lot. And it's kind of, just gotten thrown out there these last couple of years. So it will take a little time, but in my opinion, it is going to take Players Association contracts, lots of pro style elements, bringing it back to Nagy and that swag. Sooners are setting this up. and there's going to be a lot more difficult decisions to be made with these rosters cut down and X amount of dollars. People are going to get processed more. So if we can figure out when that window is, make it coincide with the schedule, if we can get everybody in and get some good feedback and contributions from different schools to talk about this, we can get a system that works for everybody and make it something solid. So I expect that to happen relatively soon. Well, we are in the desert when it comes to college football news. There is not a lot going on, not a lot about our Sooners. But before you know it, it's going to be right back upon us. But until we get there, how about a little Oklahoma softball? You know, what Patty Gasso is doing is absolutely crazy. An unprecedented 4 straight national championships, 4 in a row. And this was supposed to be a rebuilding year. And what did the Sooners do? They went 50-7, kicked the crap out of everybody. And in their regional, they blew Alabama out 3-0 and then 13-2 in a 5-inning run rule. It's crazy. Bats are getting healthy at the right time, getting just enough pitching, solid defense. And this is a team that's lost some of the best players the sport has ever seen. It's unbelievable. And just take it in, people. I don't know when you're going to see something like this again. You know, we have so many young players on this squad. So many freshmen and sophomores. And Patty got it together. It's even exceeded her expectations, and she knows what this team is capable of, and she's blown away by what these girls are doing too. Ella Parker, sophomore from my backyard. Cassidy Pickering, sophomore. Kirsten Deal, junior. Maya Bland, sophomore. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. And maybe the most unbelievable, Gabby Garcia, freshman. It's coming up clutch. Had some big time at bats, not only in the SEC tourney, but coming back in this regional where they kicked the crap out of Alabama. You know, sure, there'll be some disappointment if they don't make it all the way, but are we kidding here? You're talking 5 straight national championships. That's insane. Put it up against anybody. It's just incredible. And you can't say enough about the team. You can't say enough about the coaching staff. And Patty Gasso is absolutely the GOAT. Probably going to bring gold home for USA in 28. But before that, hopefully our Sooners can bring home that 5th, which would be incredible They got a familiar foe. They're playing Tennessee to start the thing out. So it is going to be tough. There are some good teams left in this, some good pitchers left. It kind of would have been cool to see Nebraska get in there with the whole Jordy Ball angle, but I don't mind Tennessee. It's going to be tough, and these girls will have earned it if they get there. And even if they end up not getting there, couldn't be more proud of a team. It's just they rise to the level every time. And, you know, SEC tourney, when they were down 5 or 6 against Arkansas and came back to win it, they're never out of a game. They keep their composure. It is just incredible to watch. So it will be interesting to see what happens. They're getting started on Thursday. Great day of softball. If you're off, watch all of that. So I will be rooting for our Sooners to do it. Can you imagine if they get that done? It's crazy. I can't believe it. Good stuff. NBA is getting close to winding down. Thunder, they look incredible. Making pretty easy work of Minnesota. Sure, they could come back. I just don't see it happening. That what I've been most impressed about watching this Thunder team is their ability to go on these runs. They play great defense. They're always out there knocking the ball away, creating turnover, just being absolute pests. And they really have frustrated Ant and Randall in that series against the T-Wolves. So they're going to look to wrap that thing up quick and then get a little rest. Maybe they hope the Indiana and New York series goes a little longer. Maybe they just want to get right to it. But the Thunder look like a team on a mission. That being said, I did not know how good this Indiana Pacers team was. They are incredible as well. Halliburton the other night, what was it, 30, 15, 10, 0 turnovers, never been done in the NBA. Anytime you're on the it's never been done in the NBA list or any sports list, it's a pretty good performance. Throw in 4 steals as well, just what a command. And they can beat you a number of ways. They have multiple shooters. They play some pretty good defense too. That's going to be a heck of a series. A couple small market teams, maybe ESPN and ABC aren't super stoked about that. But as a Laker guy myself, I'm free from a rooting interest and I can just watch very entertaining basketball and go with the flow. Whatever happens, happens. I know Indiana's got to finish New York off, but it looks like that's just a matter of time. But it's incredibly awesome to watch this and be free of it and not worry about who's going to win. So I am enjoying this postseason. I'm enjoying the NHL as well. As a LA Kings fan, watched Kings were 30 seconds away from going up 3-1 on the Edmonton Oilers. And Edmonton came back from a 2-0 deficit to steal that game and to put the Kings away. And they look like a team on a mission as well. Can't count those guys out. It's just been an incredible playoff hockey run. I'm a football guy, so I'm going to full transparency. I jump on to the playoffs because the season is so long. I don't need all of it, but the playoffs gives you a good 2-month run to watch. So I jump on, watch it, and it's just been great hockey. Postseason is awesome. Basketball, hockey. Even though baseball is not my favorite sport, the baseball postseason is awesome. Obviously, we have a few months before we get to that, but playoff baseball is great. Not like playoff football. There's nothing like football. It's the best sport out there. I love it more than anything. And we just have to get through a couple of long months. Maybe they'll be short. Take the kid to Six Flags, Disneyland, whatever you got to do, and get back and then get to work. But I have huge expectations for this OU squad. Arbuckle, Mateer, BV. A lot of pressure on BV, but I'm fully confident this dude's got us going in the right direction. And I think this will by far be his best squad since he's been here. And it's going to be fun to watch. In the next couple episodes, we'll break down that schedule a little bit. Just need these guys to stay healthy, continue to do that work, get that cohesion, work with those receivers, and then if we can stay healthy on that offensive line, sky is the limit because the defense is going to be lights out. All right, people, we're done with it. While you're out there surfing the webs, the interwebs, the internets, whatever the hepcats call it these days, head on over to believe.com. That is BLEAV.com. Go to shows, type in Sooner State of Mind, and you are locked, people. Not only that, got a ton of great content. Every team, every topic, everywhere, believe.com. And if you want to watch Sooner State of Mind, head on over to YouTube and search the Football Dudes. We are there, people. My name is Casey Mallon, and I am in a Sooner State of Mind.